Have you ever caught yourself waiting by the phone, hoping your son or daughter will call, and then feeling a little sting of disappointment when the day ends in silence? Or maybe you found yourself sitting in the living room, thinking, they'll come by this weekend, I'm sure. But the weekend comes and goes, and life just keeps them busy. If you've ever felt that way, you are not alone. It's something so many seniors quietly go through. We imagine that our children, our grandchildren, our relatives will always be our anchor, our constant source of happiness. And yes, we love them dearly, but let's be honest, they have their own responsibilities, their own families, and sometimes their own struggles. Depending too much on them for your joy can leave you feeling lonely, stressed, or even forgotten. And here's the truth that many people don't say out loud: relying only on family for your happiness is like building a house on sand. It's never steady, it's never secure. But what if you could build a strong foundation that doesn't shift, no matter who visits or calls? What if your happiness, your health, and your peace came from things you could count on every single day, with or without anyone else's help? That's exactly what we're going to talk about today. In this video, we'll uncover the 5 most important things seniors must rely on instead of family, 5 powerful keys that can bring you joy, strength, and peace in your golden years. And trust me, once you discover these, you'll feel lighter, more independent, and much more fulfilled. So I want you to stay with me until the end, because these insights could truly change the way you look at your daily life. And before we dive in, I'd love to hear from you. What do you rely on the most for your happiness right now? Is it your hobbies, your faith, your friendships, or something else? Drop your answer in the comments below and let's learn from one another. And if you're new here, subscribe to Elderly Wisdom Tips. This is the place where we share heartfelt advice and practical guidance for seniors who want to live their best, healthiest, and most peaceful years. Let's start with the very first thing you must rely on: community and friendships. Picture this for a moment. An elderly neighbor, Margaret. For years, Margaret used to sit by her window every Sunday, waiting for her children to stop by. Sometimes they came, sometimes they didn't. And each time they didn't, her heart sank a little lower. But then one day, she decided to try something different. Instead of waiting, she walked down to the local senior center. And there, she discovered something she hadn't felt in years: laughter, conversation, companionship. Within weeks, she had new friends to play cards with, people to share meals with, and stories to exchange. Suddenly, she felt alive again. And the beautiful thing is, it wasn't because her family stopped mattering. It was because she stopped depending on them to be her only source of joy. She built her own circle of belonging. You see, friendships at this stage of life are not just about passing the time. They are about connection. They are about being seen, being heard, and feeling valued. Studies have shown that social bonds don't just make you feel good, they literally keep your brain sharper, your memory stronger, and your heart healthier. Having meaningful relationships lowers the risk of depression, reduces stress, and even helps protect against dementia. Imagine that. Simply having good friends can add years of quality to your life. But here's where many seniors get it wrong. Too often, people believe that friendships are for the young, that making new friends at 70, 80, or even 90 is somehow strange or unnecessary. That couldn't be further from the truth. In fact, the older you get, the more meaningful your friendships become. Why? Because at this stage, you are no longer chasing status, money, or ambition. You connect with people for who they really are. And that makes friendships in your golden years even richer than the ones you had in your youth. Now, how do you start building these connections if you feel alone? You don't need to wait for a miracle. Take small steps. Join a senior club in your neighborhood. Attend a local event, even if it's just a community fair or a weekly gathering. If mobility is a challenge, use the internet. Yes, the internet can be a lifeline. There are online communities where seniors connect, share stories, and even play games together. And sometimes, friendships start with something as simple as a smile to a neighbor or a kind word to the cashier at the store. Connection often begins in the smallest of ways. So instead of waiting for your family to fill every gap in your heart, open the door to new relationships. Build your own little world of people who bring you joy. Because the truth is, when you surround yourself with friendship and community, your days feel lighter, your nights feel less lonely, and your spirit feels alive. And while friends fill your heart with joy, there's another powerful key to staying fulfilled, something that keeps your mind and body strong every single day. That's lifelong learning and mental stimulation. Think about this story. A retired teacher, Evelyn, spent her whole life guiding children through books and lessons. When she retired, she felt like her days had suddenly grown empty. The morning stretched long, and she often asked herself, "What now?" Then one day, Evelyn decided to try something she had always admired but never had time for: painting. At first, her brushstrokes were shaky, her colors unsure. But with each day, she grew bolder. Her canvases filled with life, and so did her mornings. What started as a simple hobby became her new purpose. She wasn't just passing time, she was creating. And every brushstroke reminded her that life still had new chapters waiting to be written. That's the power of lifelong learning. It's not just about gaining knowledge, it's about keeping your mind alive and engaged. Science shows us that when you challenge your brain with new activities, you actually build new connections between your brain cells. This helps reduce memory decline, sharpens your thinking, and lowers the risk of diseases like Alzheimer's. And beyond the science, there's something deeply human about it. Learning something new gives you a reason to wake up with excitement. It creates that spark of curiosity that makes each day feel fresh. But here's a misconception that holds so many seniors back. People often think learning is something you leave behind once you've retired. They think, "I'm too old for that." But that is simply not true. You are never too old to learn. In fact, your later years are the perfect time because you finally have the freedom to explore things you've always been curious about, without deadlines, without pressure. Whether it's painting, playing an instrument, gardening, learning to bake, or even exploring history, learning gives your life rhythm and color. And don't forget, learning doesn't have to be complicated. Start small. Pick up a book and read just a few pages every day. Challenge yourself with puzzles or crosswords that stretch your thinking. If you're curious about technology, learn to use your smartphone in new ways, texting, video calling, even browsing social media to connect with others. The internet isn't just for the young, it's a powerful tool for you too. Every time you learn something new, you're not only keeping your mind strong, you're proving to yourself that you are still growing, still evolving, still capable. So, don't let anyone convince you that life slows down after retirement. In truth, it can be the beginning of an exciting new journey of discovery. But knowledge isn't enough on its own, your body needs movement too. Let's talk about the third thing: physical activity and daily health routines. Picture this. A grandfather wakes up in the morning, and instead of sinking into the chair right away, he begins his day with something simple. Just a few stretches by the window, maybe lifting his arms, turning his shoulders, gently moving his legs. After that, he takes a slow walk to the park. At first, it feels like a small effort. But within a few weeks, he notices something remarkable: his body feels lighter, his joints aren't as stiff, he sleeps better at night, and even his mood begins to lift. That simple decision to move each morning has changed the way he feels about his entire day. That's the power of physical activity in your golden years. Exercise isn't just about looking fit. It's about keeping your body strong enough to support you through the joys of daily living. Movement strengthens your bones, protects your muscles, improves balance, and lowers the risk of falls, which is one of the biggest challenges seniors face. It keeps your heart healthy, improves blood flow, and helps control weight, cholesterol, and blood sugar levels. And just as importantly, it boosts your energy levels so you can enjoy life more fully instead of feeling drained and tired. But here's the problem. Many seniors believe that exercise is risky, that it's dangerous, or that it's only for younger people. Some even think, I'll hurt myself if I try. But the truth is, exercise doesn't have to mean running marathons or lifting heavy weights. Gentle activities are not only safe, they're life-changing. Walking, swimming, yoga, or even light chair exercises, all of these are perfectly suited for older adults. These simple movements can improve your balance, ease your pain, and fill your body with energy. And here's another misconception: some believe it's too late to start. But let me assure you, it's never too late. Even if you haven't exercised in years, even if your body feels stiff, beginning with just a few minutes a day can create massive changes over time. The human body responds beautifully to movement, no matter your age. So where do you begin? Start small. You don't need an expensive gym or fancy equipment. Begin with just 10 minutes of daily movement. Stretch in your living room, walk around the block, or try light chair exercises if mobility is a challenge. The key is consistency. Do it every day, and you'll notice how your body thanks you, with more strength, better sleep, and brighter moods. Because here's the truth: when your body feels alive, your spirit feels alive too. And while movement gives your body strength, inner peace comes from nurturing your spirit. Let's move into the fourth thing: spirituality and inner peace. Imagine someone who begins each morning in a quiet, gentle way. No rush, no noise, no long to-do list. Just a few minutes of prayer, or a moment of meditation, or maybe even sitting by the window with a cup of tea, whispering words of gratitude. Their breathing slows, their heart feels lighter, and suddenly the day doesn't feel overwhelming. The challenges are still there, yes, but they no longer feel as heavy. It's as if the mind and spirit have been given a shield of calm. This is what spirituality and inner peace bring into your life. It's not about escaping reality, it's about finding balance within it. Spiritual practices lower stress levels, help you manage anxiety, and improve your emotional health. They give you perspective when life feels confusing, and they provide you with a deeper sense of purpose. Because let's be honest, there will always be moments of loneliness, of worry, of questions about the future. But when you nurture your inner peace, you give yourself the strength to face those moments with calm instead of fear. Now, many people think spirituality always means religion. And for some, faith and religion are indeed powerful sources of peace. But spirituality is not limited to that. It can take many forms. For some, it's prayer. For others, it's mindfulness or meditation. It could be keeping a gratitude journal, sitting quietly in nature, or simply listening to the sound of birds in the morning. It could even be pausing at the end of each day to reflect on one thing that went well, no matter how small. The point is this: spirituality is about connecting to something greater than your worries, greater than the noise of daily life. And here's the beauty: it doesn't take hours. You don't need a retreat, or expensive tools, or even a special location. You can begin right where you are, with what you have. Spend 5 minutes a day in quiet reflection. Close your eyes and breathe deeply. Write down your thoughts or your gratitudes in a notebook. Or take a short walk outdoors, paying attention to the breeze, the trees, the sky. That simple practice can bring peace to your heart in ways that surprise you. Because at the end of the day, happiness is not just about what happens around you, it's about what happens inside you. And finally, there's one more powerful source of happiness that seniors often overlook: personal hobbies and passions. Let me share a picture with you. A retired tailor, a man who once spent his days stitching clothes for others, suddenly finds himself with more free time than he knows what to do with. At first, he feels lost. The work that once gave him purpose is gone. But then, he plants a small garden in his backyard, just a few seeds in the soil. Weeks later, he sees the first bloom, and something inside him shifts. He waters his plants, he tends to them, he talks to them even. Each flower that opens feels like a small victory, each harvest a gentle reminder that his days have meaning again. What started as a pastime becomes a passion. And through it, his life regains color. That's the beauty of hobbies and passions. They are not just ways to pass time. They are ways to enrich time. A good hobby can reduce stress, calm your mind, and even fight feelings of sadness or depression. More importantly, hobbies give you a sense of accomplishment, something to look forward to, something to be proud of. Whether it's completing a puzzle, finishing a painting, or even baking a loaf of bread, these little victories add up. They remind you that every day holds purpose, no matter your age. But here's a mistake many people make: they see hobbies as trivial, as optional, as nothing more than a distraction. In truth, hobbies are essential for your emotional and mental well-being. Think about it. When you're engaged in something you love, you stop dwelling on worries. You stop waiting for others to entertain you. Instead, you create your own joy, with your own two hands, your own imagination, your own effort. That's powerful. So what can you do? Pick one activity you've always wanted to try. It doesn't matter if you've never done it before. Maybe you've always wanted to paint, or sing, or knit, or write down the stories of your life. Maybe you've wanted to learn a musical instrument or explore new recipes in the kitchen. You don't need to be perfect, and you don't need to be fast. What matters is that you're creating something that lights up your heart. And remember, hobbies don't have to be solitary. You can join groups, classes, or online communities where others share the same interests. Suddenly, your hobby also becomes a way to connect with people, making it twice as rewarding. Because here's the truth: when you fill your days with things you enjoy, you no longer feel like life is slipping away. You feel like you're living it, moment by moment, with purpose and joy. And when you combine all of these, friendships, lifelong learning, daily movement, spirituality, and hobbies, you create a life where happiness doesn't depend on anyone else. It can be painful when family members aren't around as much as we'd like. You might find yourself missing their company, wishing for more visits, or feeling that empty silence in the house when the day ends. Those feelings are real, and they cut deep. But here's the hard truth: depending only on family for happiness often leads to disappointment. Not because they don't love you, but because they're juggling their own lives, their own responsibilities, their own battles. And when we place all our joy in their hands, we set ourselves up for heartache. But what if I told you that you don't have to live that way? By building your own sources of joy, you remove the weight of expectation. You free your family from guilt, and most importantly, you free yourself from waiting. No more sitting by the phone, no more counting the days. Instead, you live fully, on your own terms. You take ownership of your happiness, and that is one of the most empowering choices you can ever make. And the beautiful thing is, it doesn't take grand gestures to get there. It begins with small, simple steps. Starting today, choose one of these 5 things and commit to it. Maybe you decide to reach out to a local group and make a new friend. Maybe you dust off that old passion you've set aside, like painting, gardening, or writing. Or maybe it's as simple as stepping outside for a 10-minute walk to get your body moving and your heart pumping. These little steps add up, and before you know it, they build a happier, healthier tomorrow. Because here's what I want you to remember: aging does not mean losing joy. Aging means discovering new ways to experience it. It means finding peace in the present moment, fulfillment in the small victories, and happiness in places you might have overlooked before. Your best years are not behind you, they are here, in front of you, waiting to be lived with courage, curiosity, and love. You have the power to shape your days, to create your own peace, and to live with purpose. And that, my friend, is something no one can take away from you. To recap, the 5 things seniors should rely on instead of family are simple, yet powerful. First, friendships, because laughter and connection keep the heart young. Second, lifelong learning, because curiosity keeps the mind alive. Third, physical activity, because movement gives strength to your days. Fourth, spirituality, because inner peace grounds the soul. And fifth, personal hobbies, because passions bring joy and meaning into every single moment. Together, these 5 form the foundation of happiness, health, and peace in your later years. Now, I'd love to hear from you. Which of these 5 do you rely on the most in your own life? Is it friendships that keep you smiling, or a hobby that fills your days with excitement? Or perhaps you've discovered another secret to happiness, something unique that keeps your spirit alive. Share your thoughts in the comments below, because your story could be the inspiration someone else needs today. Remember, your wisdom matters, and your voice deserves to be heard. If this video brought you value, if it gave you a reminder of how much strength and possibility you hold within yourself, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to Elderly Wisdom Tips. Here, we share not just advice, but heartfelt, practical guidance to help seniors live their best lives, with dignity, joy, and fulfillment. Every like, every comment, and every subscription helps us reach more people who may need this message. Thank you for spending this time with me. Thank you for choosing to invest in yourself, to nurture your happiness, and to take steps toward a brighter tomorrow. Stay strong, stay positive, and never forget, peace and happiness are not far away, they are always within your reach. Until next time, take care, keep shining, and I'll see you in the next video.